3-2 it would finish, and it turns out it's Hansi Flick, who's pretty good in finals. It must be a feeling that he's been having, because if you look at his finals across his time with both Germany and what he's done with Bayern and what he's done with Barcelona, he has managed to win almost all of the finals that he's played in, and today is another final win today. It is 3 from 3 with Barcelona. So Hansi
not
Flick,
almost all according to this list.
Okay, I've got 7 of the 8 finals he's overseen going into this game.
That's it. You're going against.
Yes, going against
our
the statisticians today.
Yeah,
going against them.
I like it, Kay.
All right, Luis Garcia is with us, joining us now. Luis Garcia's got to be happy after seeing that. Another win for Barcelona, a worthy one for you, Luis.
Yes, another win. Good job by the Hansi Flick's players, but definitely it was more even than we thought in the beginning of the game by the situation that the both teams arrived to this final. I think I would have said 60-40 for Barcelona, and in the end it was very, very close, because Real Madrid proved once again that when the big moments arrive, all the players, they stop, make a step forward, and they show what they need. They show that is the talent, and of course that competitiveness that comes with the jersey. We saw in the first 45 a better Barcelona, more dominant, more controlling the game, but in those last 5 minutes, everything just blew away, and we saw how Real Madrid controlled it and scored that fantastic goal from Vini Jr. In the second half, there were moments, there were waves from one side to the other side, and at some point I saw Real Madrid really, really strong, and even I thought that at some point they will manage to do what they do the best in these kind of finals, bring everything going forward and scoring that goal to allow them to win the trophy. But it was Barcelona who found that fantastic goal from luckily, deflection from Raphinha. And in the end, a very exciting game. I think that everyone, doesn't matter if you are Barcelona, Real Madrid fan, could say that they didn't enjoy this beautiful 90 minutes.
And there he was, Vini, Raphinha making a sliding challenge. That is what I think Hansi Flick appreciates. I love the goals, love what he does offensively, but when the work is needed, he's willing, and he leads the team by example and saying, follow me. I'll do the running as well on this side of the field.
If you're going to play with a high line, and you're going to then press higher up the pitch, you have to have players that are both willing to do it and capable of doing it. And Raphinha is that player who does it extremely well for Barcelona. I think there's they will concede less goals when Raphinha is on the pitch, because the press is better, which then puts less pressure on the high line. And obviously him missing for a portion of the season so far was a big loss. Now him coming back not only into fitness and form, it makes a huge difference for Barcelona going forward.
What else did you like about Barcelona today, Luis?
Well, I think they got a good rhythm. They control well the game for many minutes during the game. I think that Frankie de Jong and Pedri did a fantastic job doing that, trying to keep the rhythm high or slow, depending on what were the needs of the team. I think in defense, we didn't see anymore that high line, that aggressive high line. I think the Hansi Flick has managed to control a little bit. The line was high, the pressure was high, but for many minutes when you could see that Vinícius Jr. was hanging on the left side, there was a control over that kind of situation. There was no anymore, let's go forward, let's bring the high line, just being aggressive and being exposed. I think there's been a talk there, and we've seen a more controlled Barcelona, more narrow, more compact, and that high line just being done perfectly when it has to be done. So I think there is something that it has been done there for Barcelona. Very important for what is coming next, because it's not only about today, it's about what is coming in Champions League, in the Copa del Rey, and of course in La Liga.
If I can just, because we haven't spoken enough about the high line, if I can just address that for a second. Today wasn't exposed nearly as much because Real Madrid was so far back, so deep, particularly in the first half. So even if Real Madrid won possession of the ball, they had no outlet. There was no threat in behind. The only threat that came in behind was because Vini was dribbling past people to get in behind. So really, today was not the day to say whether does the high line work or not work. What worked was the pressure. The initial pressure that allowed Barcelona to get possession of the ball right away and get on the attack right away. But Real Madrid had so many numbers behind the ball that by the time they won the ball, there was, again, nobody making a running behind, no outlet, no way to stretch Barcelona. it was all done individually by the effort of Vini Jr. in particular. Other than that, no real threat.
The effort from Vini Jr. with the ball.
Correct.
Because multiple times Gonzalo Garcia tried to start to press and then realized that he didn't have any help, so there's no point. I might as well just step back and get into defensive shape because nobody else was going to help him with that press. In this stage, when you knew you had a not 100% Mbappe to come on, and you had a guy that was tormenting Koundé, tormenting him throughout throughout the whole match, and you needed a goal. It really, and you've been battling with this player. You've had these situations, and now here was an opportunity where the player and the manager could come together, and the manager could say, Vinny, yes, this is what we want to see from you. And instead, all that focus gets shifted to him pulling him off at an unideal moment for no reason.
But you listened closely to Xabi Alonso speaking after the game when he explained why he did take Vini off.
Well, according to Xabi Alonso and what he said in the press conference in very clear Spanish, and I hope I still understand my native language, he said, well, look, Vini, he lasted for 85 minutes at a very high level, but he asked to be substituted because he was struggling with cramps. Now, I wish you could have seen the press conference with us, because while he was saying what he was saying, it wasn't all that convincing. I wasn't convinced that he was telling me exactly what happened, because he said he lasted 85 minutes. He didn't. He took him out in the 81st or 82nd minute, right? Beyond that, even if his leg is falling off, you leave him on the field. Because 30 seconds earlier, he was running circles around Jules Koundé, and he was the one player that consistently had been good for you offensively. The only threat that you had in the attack up until that point had been Vini Jr. So again, even if he says I'm cramping, hey, you give him some electrolytes. Yeah. Here you go, buddy.
5 more minutes. 7 more minutes.
You're gonna be stuck out there because I want you to be the guy that I think you can be for us and that you've already been for us in this game. This was, I don't think there's any argument that this is the best game that Vini Jr. has played under Xabi Alonso, and you take him off the field. I don't get it.
Well, he ended a 16-game drought as well with his goal, so he's feeling better about himself.
Well, but also there was a reason when you were also going to be probably cheating a player at this stage because you're down a goal. You know that Barcelona's had better possession. So now you're saying, okay, let's not get all 11 behind. Let's actually leave Vini, who might be cramping a little bit and a little bit higher. They're going to Barcelona, then they're going to keep a couple players back because they know they've not been able to defend him one-on-one, that Koundé is going to need some help. So it might just open up the space and say, okay, Vini, look, wait for that opportunity when you get the ball to go take somebody on because you're having that day. And instead, you pull off your most dangerous player.
Yeah, the best defender today for Barcelona against Vini Jr. was Xabi Alonso. For the life of me, even if he was struggling physically, just the threat of Vini was keeping Barcelona focused on Vini. And that free space up for the guy that you just brought on, who is less than 100% in Kylian Mbappe and needs all the help that he can get. Instead, you make a decision for Barcelona. Xabi Alonso did Barcelona a favor. Ask Luis Garcia. He's a Barcelona fan. Ask him if he was happy when he saw Vini Jr. come off the field.
I'm sure he was. Do you agree with what the boys are saying, Luis?
Yeah, I think it wasn't the right moment to take off. We saw Vini Jr. just walking out of the pitch from the side one, they then go to the middle to say goodbye to or wishing the best luck to the players coming in. I think it was always a threat. I think when Vinícius Jr. is in that kind of moment, even though if he's cramping, I mean, unless he cannot walk, and I don't think that it was the case, I think there is always a threat. Having him in that left side, you can tell him, listen, just stay there, just don't move, don't run back, don't make any pressure. But with Barcelona, with one player less, and having Vini Jr. in the top form, sharp, and with that confidence, that's where he's more dangerous. So I think that it would make a favor to Barcelona, removing him from the pitch.
Luis, this decision aside, do you think Xabi Alonso did enough with Real Madrid today to keep his job if it was dependent on this Supercopa, which we were hearing back in Spain?
Definitely did a fantastic job. Starting from the first 45, when he made a change, he brought Tchouaméni into the centre back because he saw that he was having problems, and Valverde bringing to the middle, Asensio to the right back. I think Asensio did a fantastic job also in that right side today. Tchouaméni also as a centre back, that's a movement that he realized, he recognized during the game. And I think that the A plan that they had to play against Barcelona, it was the correct one. You cannot go open against Barcelona. You cannot go bringing players and committing players forward, because they are fantastic at the moment. They are with a lot of confidence. The movement of the ball, they do it quick and they start bringing the ball in through the middle, and then you're going to have problems. So I think he did a very, very good job. Understood what it was the plan against Barcelona, that they will have their options with Vinícius, with Rodrigo, and maybe with Kylian Mbappe in the second half. And in the end, let's don't forget, they had two big options in the end to get the equalizer, and it was only a matter of luck or a good touch to put that goal in. So I think he did a very good job, and I'm sure the fans of Barcelona, the fans of Real Madrid, apart from removing Vini Juniors, they're going to be happy with Xabi on today's game.
Do you agree, Kasey?
I think so. I mean, and I don't think Real Madrid need to change this. I think part of the problem, I think, is who's really in control of making decisions with the squad. You know, I mean, I see a situation where I think Xabi Alonso would love to sell Vini Jr., give Mbappe that left-hand side, let Gonzalo Garcia be the guy that is that true striker that they haven't necessarily played with for a while. And does that change the dynamic of who actually is the man in charge? It's so difficult for a coach at any level when players have more power than you and nobody really knows who's actually making decisions. Because it doesn't look like, I mean, and take this late substitution. It never really looked like Vini and Alonso have been on the same page.
Well, he better hope, Xabi Alonso better hope that Vini comes out in one of the social media outlets and said, look, I was cramping, I couldn't feel my legs anymore, I asked to be substituted, the coach made the right decision. All right? He better hope that he says that instead of actually coming out, which is more likely than not, and say, I was fine, I wanted to keep playing. And if indeed that happens, now we've created a whole soap opera that didn't need to be there. And this is why I think Xabi Alonso has harmed himself. In making this decision, an unnecessary substitution, he has now created yet more drama around him and his relationship, or not, with Vini Jr. And that in itself, again, is only going to create more. You said something about Barcelona, that they look more like a unit. They look more like a
the
group.
locker room seems
more together.
Cohesive, for sure.
You don't say cohesion when you talk about Real Madrid.
Correct.
And Vini Jr. and his relationship with Xabi Alonso.
Yeah, we've got to give a big nod to Hansi Flick for that. He's standing by with Gemma Soler, now the winning coach, to talk about today.
So, Hansi Flick, congratulations on this win. I only have two questions, so I'm going to ask you to define this game, a bit chaotic. What did you tell the players in the cooling break, because it changed the first half, and how proud are you of this team?
No, very proud. So I think we played like we wanted to play. We play like Barca normally wants to play, our philosophy, and this is good to see. So I think we have a lot of ball possession today. But at the end, the most important thing that we won, and I think also we deserved it.
And the last question. Yesterday you mentioned that this title maybe is not the more important, but last year it brought you so much energy. You think it's going to be like this season to pursue the Champions League, the La Liga, and all the challenges?
It's not easy. It's not easy because I think we have in January we have every 3-4 days we have huge games in Champions League, in La Liga, but also in the Copa. It's not easy for the players, for us, but at the end, I think also it could give us a lot of confidence. But we also showed again how good we are, and we scored with the goals, and this is amazing.
Congratulations! We'll let you enjoy with the players.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gracias.
And there we go, most Supercopa de España titles, 16 for Barcelona. They were already holding the record with the 15 they had, but it is back-to-back wins for them against Real Madrid in this fixture. Yet another trophy for them, and they've won 3 of the last 4 editions. Luis is still here. He's a final specialist, is Hansi Flick, and he's definitely getting the best out of this Barca team, Luis.
Yeah, definitely. And the guys that were mentioned about the cohesion inside the dressing room, you can see that there is a fight in between all of them to try to bring the team to the best of the best. And last year, Champions League was kind of a challenge. They won La Liga, they won the Supercopa, and they started this season kind of the same way. And they go that low, and now they are recovering players. They can rotate more. Today, you have a look on what they got on the field with Ferran Torres, with Rooney, with Dani Olmo. They got so many replacements who can change the direction of any team. So I think that right now he must be very happy. They've been conceding also less goals in the past month and a half, and I'm sure that this trophy is going to make them get more confidence for what is coming next in the coming months. So yeah, congratulate Barcelona because they did a fantastic job, even though it was a very difficult game. But definitely they are in the right direction to be again a big successful year.
Whether that's Raphinha, who we already talked about, whether that's Robert Lewandowski, on today's feeling by Hansi Flick. Imagine if you're Ferran Torres and the manager is telling you, I have a feeling about the other guy. How does that make you feel?
Well, the only good part that helped is it's a Robert Lewandowski.
Yeah, of
it's a
course.
legend that is kind of coming in with that feeling. But remember, this is also a Barcelona side that we never know who's going to be registered. We never know what's going to. There's always some.
Why bring it there?
Because it's relevant. You're having this success, and Hansi Flick is having this success when there's still turmoil going around the club. And that kind of shows you how galvanizing he's been and how that locker room is kind of together.
Yeah, speaking of galvanizing as well, because you think about it, they lost that first Clásico this season in La Liga, and then they've only lost at Stamford Bridge to Chelsea in the Champions League since then. What you're seeing with this team, going back to the cohesion and the unit side of things, is that even if it isn't the best day of one of your better players, the other players are stepping up and being counted.
And again, you're depending on the players to deliver for you. Think of Joan Garcia and the pressure of Joan Garcia going back to Espanyol and all the build-up on that game. And Joan Garcia was the MVP of that match, where he's making save
And
here,
they find a
and
win.
a save there, and a save here, and a save over there.
Because most times as a goalkeeper, when you have a great game, you don't win. So what you're able to do is have a great game against your former club.
When you're getting called a rat.
When but when your team isn't playing particularly as well as you expect them to do, so it's now his turn to help the team, and then they get a late goal and they win.
And look, what has been clear, because you just mentioned the first Clásico that we watched. So this was back October 26th. Since then, Barcelona has taken off. And it didn't seem like that was going to be the case. It felt like it was Real Madrid in full control of La Liga, and that has just disappeared. So while Barcelona seems to be trending in the right direction, trending upwards, Real Madrid, not so much. And while this Supercopa de España may be sort of framed by Real Madrid and Real Madrid supporters as a positive step, as a step forward, let's not forget that we're hanging on against Atletico Madrid in the semifinals. So we can shape the argument however we want to. The truth is that Barcelona continues to win, and Real Madrid has a lot of work to be done.
Luis Garcia, we're going to let you go to bed, but you get the final say on the winners Barcelona tonight.
No, nothing. I think the guys just breaking down very well. I think that this Barcelona right now is stronger than a few months back. I think they understand that working together, that rotation is working. The manager's message is getting into the field. Today, we didn't even mention about Gerard Martin, that he was the perfect partner for Cubarsí no long ago, and now it's Eric Garcia, and the team is still working in the same way. It doesn't matter who is playing in the middle, who is playing up front. Rotation are working. Rashford came on in the second half and did a fantastic job, even though it was closer also to score once or twice. So I think that the direction, the strength, the determination of this team is in the right direction. We'll have to wait and see, because anything, any game, any moment can be a turning point and go to the other one. We've seen it so far with Real Madrid, with Atletico Madrid, and also with this Barcelona at the beginning of the season. So strong Barcelona win, and I think that right now they are in a good situation to feel that they can be challenging once again for every single trophy.
Yes, and we'll be following it closely.
True professional, Luis, by the way.
True pro.
True professional, because you know, within his heart and soul, he's enjoying this quite a bit.
He's going to dance back to his room now. But yes, there we go. Congratulations to Barcelona on winning the Supercopa. They will be back in action in the Copa del Rey last 16 against Racing Santander on Thursday. Day before that, Albacete will be taking on Real Madrid. You can catch both of those games on ESPN+.